Hey, Omar again for Chicago Cycling Network, and today I'm here with somebody that once we learn about him, you guys will be mind blown. Okay, and it's an honor, and I really appreciate you taking time out to sit with me and talk about cycling and your experience and just the amazing things you've been doing over the years. And it'll come out, guys. I won't say his name as yet because once you say his name, and you guys probably end up googling his name, and you guys see that this is like he's next level. Okay, ain't no joke. I'm sitting right here. I'm in royalty, excellence, and we all aspire to be like this guy one day. Whenever we keep on progressing. So again, thanks everybody for who have been supporting the channel so far. People working again, as I said before, behind the scenes, helping me to find people I can feature on the podcast, and all the people have been subscribing. And the more you subscribe, I can bring you amazing content. And I won't say his name, but I'll tell you this: I met he's right next to me right now. I met him about, I think about 11 years ago. And in his hometown, he's a legend, simple. And through my father-in-law, he always talk about him. I want to get a chance to, when I started biking, and I got a chance to bike with him. And I was like, I want to be like this guy. I mean, I've never said it before, but you truly inspired me when I learned about your background, what you did as a cyclist. And I'm like, man, one day I want to be next to him. Actually, maybe one day my goal is to hold his wheel. And if I can hold his wheel, I've made it. Okay, Mom, I've made it. I can hold his wheel for a little bit. So I'm here, and it's fantastic. So, Bryce, thank you so much for taking the time out.
Yeah.
And please introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure. I'm Bryce Mead, owner of Mead's Bike Shop and 3 other locations known as Trek Bicycle, Rockford, Peoria, and Champaign. Been in the bike industry since like 96, 97, working in a bike shop, and then started Mead's Bike Shop in 2024. And yeah, I mean, it's just been kind of in cycling since, I don't know, it feels like my entire life. And I don't know how far you want me to go back on the past.
We're going to go way back because we need to go back to the past to come to the present so you guys can know exactly why I'm here today. So
yeah. All right.
So as we talk about go back to the beginning, let's go back. So we are actually in right now. So I was in Rock Falls earlier when I'm on the other side of the river. So I'm not with the greasers anymore. I'm on the Sterling side. And so Bryce shop is on Locust, right? The address is Locust.
It's not where we started, but yep.
Where did you start initially?
Yeah, so I mean, the story is I'll go back even further, and I worked at a local bike shop, and then that bike shop was closing. I was getting interested in traveling out west and start racing road primarily, and so in that time that store closed, went out west, raced. I got my teeth knocked in, and then came back to Sterling and literally had no money. And then so I just started working off of Marcy's front porch, doing bike repairs. And then next thing you know, it just kind of just got out of control with people coming in for repairs. And we just rented a little space west end of town, again, with no money, opened up like 1,000 square foot store. Oh. And got a little line of credit from Trek, and we brought some bikes in, brought some product in, and slowly just kept growing the business to what it is today, which is 4 stores, not small operation anymore, and still looking to grow. But the thing that most people miss is that I did continue racing, having all of these locations at the beginning in the mid 2000s, and even turned professional, which was not heard of when you own a bicycle store, that you put the time in, turn professional, and I raced with the Jelly Belly Pro Cycling Team.
Yeah, so hold it, guys, hold it. So this is what I'm getting at. So I'm trying to get at to you guys. You're pro.
Yep.
Okay, guys, pro. Before we get to the pro story, how do you get started into cycling to end up becoming a pro?
Well, I had family that rode, and I was always like, oh, okay, that looks interesting. And then, I in high school, I really struggled with team sports. I just couldn't get, basketball, even though I'm 6'5", basketball didn't really wet my whistle. And then I didn't like tennis. I tried tennis. I mean, I tried all these sports. and literally was playing tennis, and along the tennis courts was single track mountain bike trails.
Huh.
And these guys kind of ride by, and I was looking up at them, and as they rode by, a guy rings his bell. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I went to the local bike shop, which I ended up working for later, and bought my first mountain bike, a Gary Fisher Range Toto. Okay, this is 1996, mind you, or 97 maybe, but I remember the bike, and I started riding. And then those guys, I recognized them, and I still today ride with them. It's Matt Bosselman and Chris Johnson. Those were the two guys.
No way.
Yeah. So I mean, those guys still ride. And that was 96, and still riding bikes, road and mountain bikes with those two.
Wow. Okay. So you say you okay, guys, pro. So this is I only know one pro in my life. Like met personally one pro, and it's you.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So because I'm
Illinois is not the hot spot of pros, but there have been quite a few pros in Illinois. Christian Vandevelde from Chicago, pro rode on U.S. Postal. Reed Mumford, Ben Raby, and then myself are some of the road pros that I can remember in Illinois. So there's a few of us that existed.
No, a few, but I only met one, which is I think is the coolest one I've met. So that's awesome. So what team do you race for? You mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So do you want me to go back?
Yeah. Go back further.
So I started mountain biking. There's a mountain bike series that whether it was Wisconsin off road. Or, there's even mountain bike racing out in our area, even Morrison, Gussie mountain bike race series. And as I grew to 6'5", I realized that my power was more road. And then so I transitioned and ended up riding for a team that was, had an excellent team, Athletes by Design. And back in the mid 2000s, there's a lot of really good shop teams. I mean, you had Higher Gear, Triple X, which I don't even know.
Triple X is like, I'm a member of Triple X in Chicago. And also Triple X to see.
Yeah.
Bryce go all the way to Triple X.
Well, Reed Mumford came from Triple X. I mean, that guy was a monster. And I'll never forget when Reed showed up to the scene. I mean, I remember like Triple X was a smaller team. Then all of a sudden there was this guy that was amazing, and it was Reed Mumford. And he ended up coming to Athletes by Design, and I was on that team. Some other really good riders, Frank Dierking ended up going pro off that team. And so we were all amateurs, and then we did 2-year stints. And then next thing you know, I think 3 of us went pro off that team. And seems like, after about the mid-20, when I went pro with Jelly Belly and they went pro, the cycling scene in Chicago started dying a little bit. And not sure all the reasons for that. I think cyclocross maybe has a little play to do that.
Yeah, maybe crits. There's a lot of crit races in Chicago. We talk about this in Chicago a lot about what happened to like the road races and stuff. We need to bring it back. So we've been pushing Triple X for sure, because I'm a member of Triple X, to start bringing back more road races, because you have amazing roads here, but there's not a lot of road. It's mainly like people do a lot of crits.
Yeah.
Crits is a huge thing in Chicago. All cyclocross is really big in Chicago. And now people are pushing towards gravel racing now.
Yeah.
A lot of gravel. I mean, you have Burning Man and Turkey Burner and all these stuff that's coming up soon. So
and I think Triple X actually put on a stage race years ago in Galena. And so, I mean, obviously, if you know where Galena is, it's right next to the Mississippi River. And so a Chicago club, having an event that far out west is pretty amazing. And there's great roads out here on the west side of Illinois, and I agree. It'd be great to see some road races even out in our area.
Maybe you could have meets put on us, start bringing it back. You never know.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it, and definitely wouldn't be opposed to helping work with it, but we would need some assistance. Our operation out here, we definitely would need some assistance.
Well, maybe if Triple X do something, you can get in touch. I know the guys from Triple X. I know the vice president, the president. Again, I'm a member, so I know. And we've been pushing like, hey, we need to bring back cycling. And I know some of the crit teams like 606.
Yep.
But they're more kind of crit team, and they're trying to expand the women team, and they're trying to expand into all aspects of riding. And you have some younger thirsty riders now there in Chicago. So you never know. Let's see how it turns out. But I'm excited to see that Chicago, because Chicago as like cyclists are from all different flavors, and even on the outskirts and the burbs, there's some really, really nice clubs out there, and there's some really guys who are really, really strong. And now that we have Zwift, people are going every year. It's like I'm biking and people are getting fitter and fitter.
Yeah.
And I'm getting older and older.
Yes,
and I'm slowing down. So I'm
it's tough.
trying to keep up. And I'm new to the sport. So
your new e-bike just came in too. So we got your new electric road bike.
And that's I've been trying to convince Pops to get an e-bike, but he's not there yet. But yeah, hey, if I get too old and I can't keep up, man, I'm gonna get an e-bike. I'm gonna e-bike. Like, judge me if you want, but I'm gonna get an e-bike. It's all good. I'll come over and get a train e-bike. You never know.
No hate. No people on the road. We don't care.
Exactly. So, man, being a pro and being in the presence of a pro, I mean, it's pretty amazing. And just to see what you've been doing in the local scene here in Sterling, because I know you guys have group rides. So talk about some of those groups that you guys put on over here.
Yeah, I mean, so, we've always been a big fan of, if I'm going to ride myself, it's, like even we do an indoor class, for instance. And so what's a better way to get more people involved than just, promoting events, whether it's a group ride, indoor ride, even a social ride. It goes a long ways. And so I know, we have 2 rides right now that we do, a Monday and a Wednesday night. Primarily the Monday night is going to be, 20 or 25 mile loop. It does get maybe up to 30 in the summertime. And, we'll get 20, 30 people showing up, and we just try to keep it 2 abreast, casual for the first 80% of the ride. And then the last 20%, we might open it up and go a little bit quicker. But it's been going on for 20 years. I mean, we've been in business for 21, and we've been doing that ever since. But what's really unique with us is in our community, and this started well before us. I mean, about 45 years ago, they were doing what they call the Wednesday night time trial, and that is a 5 mile out and back. So it's a 10-mile time trial. And back in the the early 80s. I mean, I think it actually might even started in the late 70s, but they were on the same road.
Same out and back.
Yeah. And the guy, that gentleman that said goodbye to me, he doesn't live here anymore, but he's the guy that started that. Okay. Wow. And that, so they've just been doing this time trial, and it's handed down who leads it, but our club still does it. And it's still going on, and we've gotten up to 40 people to, sorry about the phone.
Yeah, it's good.
But we've gotten 40 people to partake in the Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it before, so I know it's a lot of fun. That out and back loop, I've done it like long time ago using Pop's bike before it got stolen. So I know the course is fun. A lot of people will show up, and then you guys give out those little snow, the freezer pops.
So my parents, if you're ever out here on a Wednesday,
what time is it?
It's 6 p.m. Wednesday. It is south of Rock Falls, very flat. And then at the end, you can cool down. I record the times, and then my parents hand out popsicles, and that's been going on for quite a while. Yeah,
and I've been there. So basically, Bryce can attest to this. So basically, he send out people in waves. Again, it's like, take a tri-bike, road bike, whatever. There's no drafting, and he send like 30 seconds or so.
1 minute usually.
1 minute usually. Yeah. And then I think he goes last. And the goal when I did it was like not to get caught by Bryce. And I did get caught by Bryce. And I was literally maybe like 10 minutes ahead of him. And all you hear is just like, woof, 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 and there he is, gone. Yeah. I mean, this guy's beasting. I think, what's your record? Like a 30 miles an hour you've done a course in, maybe?
I think the course record is just sub 30 miles an hour. Like it's 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
And you did that.
Yeah. Yep.
See, I'm talking about guys. This guy's legit. And when I knew about him a couple years ago, and I met him, and I was like, man, this guy did 10 miles at like sub 20 minutes. That's like, I don't even do it on Zwift with Constance. I did Big Mig one time on Zwift, and there was a new pacer, which was like a 5-point-something watts per kg. And I did maybe like 6 miles at like 29 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that was flat as a
That is pretty hard.
And you did that in real life.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like enjoyable. So like it's already non-enjoyable, but to add Swift to it, it's like indoor riding, it's like the double unenjoyable. It's tough. But if you it's tough effort.
If you get over it mentally, then once you get outside, it's good to keep to just maintain yourself until you get outdoor, because now it's just, for me, it's just maintenance now. Yeah. And then my Z power like dropped to like 290, 280, but then once I'm fresh outdoors and go back indoors, it goes up to like high. But now it's maintenance time now, and just to keep the legs moving, because it's cold in Chicago, And I did it for a couple of years in the cold. I think I told you before, I got like really sick and I was like, no more. It's just no, it's not fun. Freezing. I mean, I had all the equipment, but it's just not fun.
Yeah.
And Zwift is painful sometimes, but once you get over that mental hump, I've done like over 6 hours on Zwift before. So one ride, not getting off. So I know you're like a 1 hour guy.
Yeah.
On Zwift.
Yeah. 1 hour guy. That's all I want to do. It's like a 1 hour. It's just maintenance. Really, it's really hard for me to do more. A lot of times I'll leave like a week or 10 days in the wintertime and do a training camp out west. I still do that, believe it or not. And I might bump it up to 90-minute rides. But then once we're out west, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous because we'll do 4 or 5 hour rides every day. And
that was recent, right?
That was recent. Yeah.
Because I remember I was talking to you and you were out there.
Yeah, my wife is a professional triathlete, so we still do it out there for maintenance on her.
Hopefully I can convince her because I've ridden with her, and I think the last time. So before we get to the story, please touch on the Farmondo evolving to the Fremondo, so let people know because Chicago, we need to come support Bryce.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. I brought some guys with me from Cortada last year for Fremondo, and they had a blast. So touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so two things is that we were talking about time trials, and so we've considered bringing back Illinois does not, USA Cycling does not really have a time trial, and so we actually have hosted a time trial out here in our community before, and we consider bringing that back. But then we look at the Illinois State Time Trial, and it only gets 30 to 40 participants. It's not the most enjoyable event. And so then we started doing the Farmondo. And we call it a farm because of Grand Fondo, but we have so many farms out here that we just added farm and dropped the grand. It's kind of I don't know.
Play words.
Nobody really understands like why we called it that. And sometimes I question why did I call it that? But and then we did that all the way up to COVID. And then COVID hit, and then then everything got canceled. And then 2021 came around, and we're just like, well, do we do this or do we not? And then it was just like, well, we should just do something free. It's like crazy. All these events are now like $40, $50, $60.
No, higher.
Well, I don't do that many, I guess. But and it's and then you get some of these gravel events that used to be free, and now they're $60, $70. And so we're just like, well, we have these awesome roads. Literally, you can do a 100-mile ride out here in Sterling and get passed by 8 cars on quiet country roads, maybe 10. 12 if church gets out and you get caught on a Sunday. Yeah. And so we just were like, okay, let's just call it the Fremondo instead of the Farmondo. And then so we brought it back, and then literally it was free. And then on top of it, our club had money set aside from dues over the years, and it was just like, well, let's just give it back. Let's try to bring people in. So we were giving away free T-shirts if you partake in the event, and then also a free beer at the end of it. And surprisingly, I thought it would get more and more people, but I think people think it's a trick. It's like, wait a minute,
it's not a trick. Yeah. I did it. I have my T-shirt. I brought a bunch of friends here, and they had a blast.
Yeah.
So it's not free.
How many people have done it? Like 150 people? 200? Yeah. I mean, so we get about 150 people,
which is a lot. I
mean, it is because
it can get more eventually. But again, something else have to build up a little bit. Let people get a good taste. Because So I'm in this biking group in Chicago, Cortado, and they literally made the ups and downs an event, and they're gonna make the Fremont once we have a date. They're gonna make it as an event to get people to come out. So you have our support.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good riding. I mean, if you do the 65-mile loop, I think there's 3,000 feet of climbing. We literally take it to the Mississippi, and you ride the river bluffs, and it's something that I used as the training grounds when I was racing professional, and still ride them. And honestly, it's like, you go to some areas and the growth, the housing development, the business development is insane. But you come out here into rural Illinois, and life is still pretty simple. I mean, it's a slower speed. You're gonna see a lot of corn, and you might actually be amazed and have a good time. So
no, you will have a good time. Especially you're gonna ride in one of my favorite roads in this area. And one of my favorite roads here is Fairhaven.
Yep.
I love Fairhaven.
Yep.
The rollers are just like
Fairhaven Road is 10 miles, and it's 1,000 feet of climbing. And if you hang a right and you just go up a few more miles, then there's 2 more river bluffs. And I think the first climb is 20% grade, and then the second one's like hits like 18%. So there's some really big climbs out in this area. We're on the southern part of the Driftless.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember. So when I did came to bike up years ago, and I was biking with, I think, Mark Wall and Ray and Pops, and we went up the bluff. We're heading to the east on Fairhaven, and they call the first climb MF Hill. Because you hit like an 18% or somewhere.
It's 18, yeah.
Yeah, they call it, they nickname it MF Hill. So
Yeah.
if you climb MF Hill, you will actually have a lot of painful fun. But when you get to the top, you'll be like, wow, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But it's fun. So guys, hopefully we can make Fremont this year. It's a lot of fun. I've done it, and I'm telling you, you'll have a blast. You can either go hard and try to keep up with Bryce, or you can just hang and just enjoy the scenery. You can see the animals, which this is one of Bryce's favorite spot to stop and see those animals.
Oh yeah, the giraffes.
The giraffes,
Yeah,
right?
There's 2 giraffes. Yeah, and if you don't know, like Mead's Bike Shop on Facebook, look through the photos. You'll see the giraffes, and
it's a good place to take photos. Okay, it's a good photo hop, so you can always get off.
But he didn't take a photo. He was too busy following me, and then we'll have another. We'll have another episode of ride tactics.
So yes, I will tell you what he did to me, and I'll never forget it. So, I know he's going to attack at some point, and he tried a couple times in Fairhaven, and I jumped back on his wheel, and he's like, "All right, never mind." He did a couple times, and never mind. I was like, "Okay, cool." And then with a breakaway, me and him and this other guy, and my God, it was a lot of fun. We were all doing our thing. I thought we were going to stick together, and I remember coming, and I was like, "All right, I'm out," and I went like this, and Bryce was like, "I'm not going around you." And I'm like, "Seriously, come on, go around me." And then the handshake, I said, no. The other guy was up the road already. And all I heard was like woof, 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 woof. And I'm like, I can't do it, man. He drained me.
Yeah.
But it was a learning experience. I mean, I'm with a pro, okay?
Yeah.
So he's thinking about tactics and all the different things. I'm like thinking I'm going to try to keep it together. But man, that was fun, and it was a good learning experience. I learned a lot from that entire thing. So yeah.
Pulled the ripcord.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Or lights out. One of the two.
Lights out. I'm telling you, I didn't have anything. I was like, I need help, go around. And he was like, not yet. I'm like, keep up. I'm like, okay, he's like, take it easy on me. Guys, all I heard was like, woof, woof, woof.
But the best part is that we still had a beer after the event.
Of course.
We went down to the bar, had a beer, and that's what's fun about the Formondo. Yeah, it's all easy going.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from that experience, and next time I'll be on the lookout for that. So next time I'll play my cards wisely next time, because when you're a pro, you don't think like a pro.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
But
you learned a new trick.
Yeah. And again, just be able to keep up with Bryce for even 10 miles from me now, that is huge, because you remember where I was 5 years ago when I started biking. I couldn't even. I've come a long.
That's the beauty of cycling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. You mentioned that you said your wife is a.
Yeah, Erica.
She's a pro or
pro triathlete. Yeah,
pro triathlete.
Yeah, she turned pro last year, and So she's revving up, getting ready for her season this year.
And so, Erica, again, thank you for saving me, because when those guys let me go and spit me through the back, you guys came and caught me, and we all came together. So thank you for that. You're super strong, Erica. So thank you. Okay, this guy is okay. That's another story. So any plans for this year? I mean, I heard you were training for Ironman Rockford.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and then with business, and then just training for an Ironman, I ended up pulling the plug on that.
It's a half, though.
It's a half, yeah. So mentally, it's really hard for me just to have the mindset of just finishing it and not competing. And so, if I can't get myself to a certain level, it's just like, I'd rather just stay where I'm at and just try and improve on that. And so instead of training for 3 events, I just decided to stay in cycling, maybe hit up a mountain bike race, or, we got a couple things going on. I know like Wars is bringing an event to Rockford, and our store has helped bring that event. And so maybe do a mountain bike race, or maybe a couple of gravel events. Yeah,
because I saw you've been doing a lot of mountain biking.
Yeah.
In some of those parks and stuff.
Yeah. I do more mountain biking fall and winter just to get off the road, and it blocks the wind quite a bit. So it's good training also to work on your handling skills. And so I'll do quite a bit of mountain biking. I'll do a little gravel stuff. But out here in our area, we have more sealed chip roads, and so we actually don't have that many gravel roads in our community. So I still ride the road bike more around here.
Oh, gotcha. And I think I remember seeing one of those races where when you're on the podium and you're at a 606 guy next to you. That was Ross.
Yeah.
I bike with Ross.
Yeah. Ross is legit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I bike with him at Wednesday night ride all the time.
Yeah.
And just to be able to, we have this sprint segment and WNR, and me and Ross go toe to toe sometimes, and I beat him. So I'm actually very happy I can outsprint him because Ross is like next level.
Yeah, I don't know. He had another teammate that was really good. He wasn't there this year, but the year prior he was there. You know him by chance? No,
if I see the face, I might know him.
Yeah.
Because I know most of the guys in 606.
I think he was cyclocross. He was really good at cyclocross too. Anyways, there's some really phenomenal riders in the area.
No, I'm telling you, 606 is stacking in Chicago now. So a lot of the guys who have been putting in the work, they're moving to 606 now.
Okay.
So because I think they're trying to build like a really strong team to compete at the national level with like Legion and Blaze and all those guys.
Oh, good for them.
So you have like Mike Lanyon, and you have like Hendricks, you got Jacob Wilson, you got Christopher Lamb, you have Ross, you have Nate, all the strong guys. And plus they have some strong senior guys too that are really masters level, but they're putting on a pretty solid team together.
Yeah.
In addition to their female team, like Simone is working on building up a strong female team to compete. And Simone is when Cat won for crits.
Okay.
So again, they're
that's good. I mean, that's what Chicagoland needs. And I owe a lot to Athletes by Design, Mike Farrell, for handing out an opportunity to a farm kid years ago. Because if it wasn't for that Chicago club, I probably wouldn't have gone pro. I probably still owned the bike shop, but who knows? I mean, history was written.
And what age you started? What age?
And
like start cycling, like going to pro. What age you?
I turned pro. Well, I raced for Athletes by Design as Cat 1 for a couple seasons. I was Cat 1 for about 3 years before that too. But that was 05, 06, and then 07, 08, 09. I turned pro with Jelly Belly Pro Cycling, which was like the longest running, sponsored.
Yeah. So with Jelly Belly, what are some of the races you did for Jelly Belly, like at a pro level?
Who raced for them?
No, what type of race you do for, like, did you like?
I've done. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like Tour. I mean, I participated in the Tour of California, Tour of Georgia, Tour of Missouri. If anybody remembers, like Philadelphia, we raced in Asia. We did a ton of stuff.
What was your role in the team? Were you like the sprinter or what?
No, I was more like breakaway. Yeah, and so that's the crazy thing. Like I've won the Illinois State Time Trial like 12 times here, but at a national level, I might have broken top 10 a few times, but like the legit TT guys, it's just like, so, you just change your role a little bit and started going more into breaks. We also had some really good climbers the first year. And so my role would be really riding tempo on the front. So, back when I was racing at that age, riding at 300 watts for 3 hours was not uncommon. And then, but when you do that all the time, it does take away from the high end, it seems like. But so I would get in breaks and just ride in breaks quite a bit. So I mean, all those races, Missouri, Georgia, California, it was on breaks in those, which is kind of a big deal, at the time. And then a lot of the smaller events, even criteriums, you get in breaks and ride it, and hope you can make it to the finish line. But
300 watts for 3 hours.
Not always the easiest. It's not easy, especially when World Tour teams are there. And at that time, Lance was retired, but you have like Contador would show up, Levi Leipheimer, Cavendish, who just recently retired, and Bradley Wiggins.
Sir Mark Cavendish.
Yeah, Sir Bradley Wiggins. I mean, so it's kind of crazy when you look back and you have these opportunities. I'm missing a ton of names, but those are popular names that a lot of people maybe would recognize.
Wow. And then you talk about 300 watts for 3 hours, and then you have got like Tadej Pogacar, who just like 323.40 at zone 2.
Zone 2, yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I weighed 200 pounds. Maybe back then I weighed 185 or something, 190. But he's like 135. So
exactly. Right. So
it's a little different.
But that way, punching that watts is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
I do some of the rides on Zwift, and I'm like, I started to do the climbs. I'm like, I can't keep up with those guys.
Yeah.
Because they're much lighter and they're pushing my watts. There's no way I can keep up with those guys.
Yeah.
They're just like, gone.
So you just got to learn how to ride in the wind and learn some tricks and how to put people in the gutter and change the dynamic there. But yeah, when you get to a climb, I mean, it's, you know,
So it's another beast.
I wasn't going to Tour de France anytime soon. That's for sure.
Well, you never know, but it's too late. You know, you're still you're doing your bike shop
and
stuff
so
now.
I did own the store then, and you know, you do get to a point. It's I'll never forget it. I actually had people that would ask me to move to Boulder. I think when I was racing professional, there was 90 pros at one time. I mean, cycling was huge, and you know, we were getting the Lance Armstrong effect, I believe, and so there was a boom in cycling, and there's 90 or some odd pros, and I think 70 of them lived in Boulder.
Wow.
You know, so
high elevation, huh?
Yeah, and then so. I could be wrong about that, but it was something crazy at one time. And so people would invite me to live in their house, you know, rent. And I owned a house here in Sterling. So I stayed in Sterling. And so, you know, Illinois has given me an opportunity to be successful, to not just own a business, but own the property, because we played some cards well. We, you know, hunkered down here. And then, you know, the business really started growing. And I had to make a decision. Do I still keep racing? I mean, I would race Sunday, take a red eye, okay, fly back and show up to work at 10 a.m. And, you know, in your 20s, you can get away with that. And it really does wear you down. Performance would be a problem. Certain times of the year, I would show up to races, you know, more exhausted than I should have. And then you get to about 28 or 29, and it's just like, okay, I got to make a decision financially. And it was all fun, and I wouldn't change a thing except for the red eyes. But so we just decided that it was time to call it a career. So
yeah, I mean, I think you made a pretty good choice, because I think you have set up a really good network and business here in Sterling. And again, a lot of people hold it high esteem in the community because of what you've been doing and what you're keep on and will be doing. So I'm excited to see what's going to become of you, and let's keep it up, because again, I mean, we don't talk as much, but when I'm in Chicago and I'm like, hey, I know Bryce, man, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I think it's like, you know, we're still looking to grow our business, and there's still a lot of things. Yes, we're very business focused, but you know, our roots are cycling, right? Like, it's just, we want to promote, you know, whether it's how to tell people how to change a flat, or how do you get involved in cycling, and how do we promote youth? I think youth is a really big problem. Getting more and more kids on bikes. I think you'll hear that more and more. It's like, you know, these bikes are expensive. Racing is expensive. And you know, is there a way we can figure out, you know, how, and even putting on races is very expensive.
I can imagine.
You know,
I can imagine.
That's why that's the draw of gravel, is like, you know, most times promoters don't have to have, you know,
it's open course.
Yeah, open course and whatever. So there's little fees, but to put on a road event,
self-supported.
Yeah, very expensive, and I get it. But at the same time, I mean, you know, $10,000 bikes are not easy for everybody. So it's, you know, we've tried to figure out ways to buy used bikes back and try to get kids back on bikes, and it's really, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's very tough. But as we grow, it would be nice to be able to put it on. I mean, we've even thought, like, you know, wouldn't that be awesome if we could put on a tour of Illinois? Whether it's just a smaller scale, but it is a possibility.
As I said, you know, Triple X, we've been calling them out, and it's something we brought up in conversation that we should do a tour of Illinois. Like same as you mentioned, these are conversations we're having in Chicago right now. Yeah, and we're trying to really get Triple X, because they're like one of the main guys there that have the experience and the people, the manpower to do it. So you never know. Like, maybe they'll look up with you and do something. I don't know.
Cost of living in Sterling is far different than like Chicago.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can own a really nice house out here for, I mean,
not a lot,
and not a lot of money, honestly. And then so it's the same with all the resources. I mean, it's just, I mean, putting on Tour of California, I mean, with all the police and all that, it just has got to be so expensive. But in Illinois, I'm not saying the same scale, but I do think you can do a really fine tour, or you know, fraction of the cost. Yeah. But I mean, I think that there's just a lot of issues with cycling in general right now that I don't know how we sort it out.
Yeah. I think we're, from what I'm seeing on the conversations in Chicago, I think they're in a kind of a building phase now. I'm trying to really think like, okay, at some point we were big, we lost everything since, you know, Armstrong, when on or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
retired, and how can we build the sport up again? And the big thing now is crits, and then people are bringing in the gravel, and then the cyclocross, and then people are kind of think, how can we expand to more beautiful outskirt road of Chicago,
Yeah.
Illinois? So let's say it plays out. So again, I'm looking forward to all these changes that are coming. So let's see.
Yeah.
So earlier you mentioned something, and it stuck in my mind. You see, you got your tooth knocked out, and then you started rethinking stuff. So what was that about? You mentioned earlier you got a tooth knocked out, and did you have an accident in crits or something? You mentioned earlier that you remember.
I got knocked out?
No, your tooth or something. You say got knocked out.
No. I don't remember that.
Okay,
No.
never mind. But I heard something. I'm like, wait a minute.
The only thing I could say about criterium racing when I was on Athletes by Design, I'll tell you a fun story. We would travel every weekend, and I probably made more money racing amateur than I did pro, okay? And we would hit all these criteriums, Michigan, Indiana, Iowa, obviously Illinois and Wisconsin. And every weekend was like the purse for Pro 1-2 was $5,000, okay? And so we would go there, and our team, we had John Puffer, who was a phenomenal sprinter. He would, one of us would be in a break. We went out of the break. John Puffer would sprint and get second, third, whatever, and then we stack the top 10. We would walk away every weekend, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in our pocket when you add the preems, right? And then that was 07, and then like 08, 09, kind of a little bit similar, but then 2010, started getting a little murky. The $5,000 purses all of a sudden changed to $500 race purses. And so it's kind of,
there goes the motivation.
Yeah. And so it's like, even like the purse, I mean, yes, you have an event, but a $500 race purse, or even sometimes I've seen like as low as $250 for some of those criteriums. You don't get the same athletes showing up. And so it's just interesting how it's just really kind of fizzled out.
I mean, I know Legion tried some stuff by even do like $20,000 to $15,000. I think I've heard.
Yeah,
high to get some people to get motivated to come out to race.
Oh man, there was even a crit in the suburbs that had $100,000 purse, and they would pay for, like some Tour de France riders. I mean, it's not their style to race criteriums, but I can't remember if like Floyd Landis did it one year that he won the Tour. Maybe I can't remember. But
Yeah. So again, we have a lot of work to do. We need to bring back a lot of things in Illinois, and we have the roads here. That's one thing in the West. We have the roads. I've ridden a lot of them, and we have many places right out here. So again, Bryce, I mean, I'm so happy that you took the time out to like chat a little bit, to learn about you, and just then, guys, easier in Sterling. If you need anything, you're in town close by. You drive by 88 going west. You can always just pull off the freeway. It's maybe like about 3-4 miles, and you get to the shop and pick up some stuff. So I said most of the bikes I'm looking at is Trek bikes. So you're mainly a Trek dealer?
Primarily a Trek dealer. I mean, we have a really good relationship with Trek. I mean, I've known them when I was a teenager. I know some of the same people from that era. I mean, there's people from our community that are higher up there, even in the kind of the customization building process that came from Sterling. So we have a good connection. But they've been a great partner for us since the beginning when they took a chance on us. So when somebody, and I'm not joking when I say I started the company with $200, and they took a little bit of a risk giving me an open line of credit since I owned absolutely nothing. And they worked with us to kind of grow the business.
21 years later.
21 years later, 4 stores.
4 stores.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say you're Sterling.
So Trek Bicycle Rockford, beautiful building. If you've ever been into Rockford, I would highly recommend stopping in. Beautiful building and great staff. Then we got Sterling, Illinois. Then we got a new location in Peoria, beautiful building again. And then we just bought Trek Bicycle Champaign, which was Champaign Cycles. And so we changed the name, rebranded it. And so.
Exciting stuff. So if you guys need anything Trek, Bryce is the man. And if you need to learn to change a tire or anything, he also does classes. There's Zwift. You can join his classes in Zwift, and it's too cold to bike outside. A lot of amazing things here in Sterling, which I get to learn all these different things about from a pro. I mean, I'm sitting next to a pro. You guys don't understand. Like
He could sit next to you. He could have invited my wife.
Next time, I'll do her because she's kind of a different flavor. She's a triathlete because you're more kind of hardcore biking.
Yeah, she's more serious.
Exactly. I know. I've seen what she does. So convince her. Let's sit down and chat to learn about her. You never know. It's maybe she can convince you to go change your mind about Rockford and go. Is she doing Rockford?
Yeah. I mean, we're probably moving to Rockford because she works in Rockford, and I travel more for the job. But yeah, I mean, even in Rockford, there's people hear Rockford, and they're like, oh, Rockford, but they got some great resources, some good mountain bike parks. Rock Cut is an amazing park that if you ever get a chance to ride and you want closed, kind of like a closed course, I would say, is Rock Cut has a 4.5 mile loop that's beautifully paved road with a bike lane. But they also have a little mountain biking in that park. Atwood's a great mountain bike park.
Yeah, I've seen it in many rides.
Yeah.
It's like Bryce got to come. Bryce got to come.
Yeah. Well, don't tell Ross. Ross. I took some from Ross and Rock Cut, but it's a beautiful place to go and ride and experience. They got new mountain bike race coming from Moores, and then also they got the Ironman this summer as well.
Wow, that's
a lot of things going on.
A lot of things. Again, I think we're in the cusp of changing the tides for racing here. So again, let's see how it plays out. I mean, you're doing opening all these different shops and doing coming to work. So maybe it will pay out. And I think again, people in Chicago are talking about really doing something because again,
we got to change the culture, right?
Change the culture, and youth's going to be a good way to start. So you have any kids?
No.
So maybe your kid could be the next Bryce Mead Junior Pro.
Yeah, maybe. And NICA, I don't know if I believe NICA is starting in Illinois here pretty soon as well, which is I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. A lot of people might. So NICA is just a mountain bike for high school, mountain bike racing for high schoolers, and I believe it's starting in St. Louis. They were, it's easier for them to start in St. Louis because there's already a program in Missouri. And their plan is to start there and then kind of move it slowly up the west side of Illinois and then into the Chicagoland.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm trying to get my son into biking, but like I said, son, because he's almost 6 feet already at 16. I think he's maybe taller than me a little bit, but don't tell him. And I'm trying to get him into biking. I'm like, hey, son, I have all these bikes at home. If you put in some work in the next 2 years, you could be like one of the fastest kids in Chicago at 18. Because he doesn't know juniors in Chicago.
Right.
There's a few guys like, like Philip Camaye and all these other guys, but it's not a lot of juniors. And this can be the replacement.
Yeah.
I see even Chicago, a lot of bike clubs are getting older now and they're not recruiting younger riders.
Yeah.
So they're fading out and going to become dinosaurs. So hopefully we can really stimulate the youth's excitement. But people, you make money off basketball and all these are sport and football. So people don't want to bike, but there's so much fun things you could do.
Yeah, cycling is a little different than all that, but there's, it's cycling. There's something beautiful about cycling, being out in the open air. Maybe not all the time in Chicagoland, but you get out here where you can see a beautiful sunrise, sunset, really not be annoyed with traffic. There is something beautiful about that. And even in Chicago, there's a lot of beauty.
If you head south in Chicago or head north, you get some really nice roads. Like going north towards Wisconsin, you get
I see some of your routes.
Like Hunt Road and stuff. But in the city, it's a little bit tricky. Without traffic. But if you leave, man, you can get some really nice roads. And again, heading west. I mean, I have friends who have ridden from Chicago to this area. I had a friend of mine who rode from Clinton, from Sebula, Iowa, all the way back to Chicago.
Oh, really? Yeah. There's some locals that do that. I can't remember what they call it, but it's like
right across Wisconsin.
Yeah, they do it in one day, and it's a little bit easier here than Wisconsin.
So you say you're a 6'5". What size bike do you ride?
62 centimeter.
Wow, that's a big.
And I still run a 175 millimeter crank. I haven't gone shorter yet.
I'm 175, and I do 172.5, but I'm not going to any lower than that because I'm not a cadence guy. I do high cadence, I get tired.
Yeah. So it's all about crank arm length now. You hear about it all the time. And when I was racing pro, I raced with 180s. And
I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah. Well, when you scrape your pedal against the pavement a couple times.
In crates, you're like,
it's like, okay, I went back to 175s and I didn't scrape pedals, which is kind of crazy that you're scraping pedals on 180s. So it tells you the margin of error in your angle. So I can definitely see going shorter. I think that there's something there with the shorter cranks. Totally get it, especially aero position. But it's interesting. I heard some of them are now in like 150s, 155s.
Yeah, I mean, Tad was like 160, Tad progression like a 165 or something like that.
Yeah, no, Vinigo's on 150 or 155s. It's pretty wild. So.
And then what tire size are you running on your bike?
700 by 28 on my road, and then like mountain bikes like 2.2. So
Wow. So now I know we were transitioning from this whole 25 was the thing. Now it's
no,
28.
that's not true. 19 millimeter was the thing.
Right. 19.
When I was doing TTs, and now it's like you're running 28s on the, for sure, like the rear, 25 maybe on the front. And when we were doing criteriums, we were always a big fan of the Michelin Pro Grip, which was like the same compound like the F1 cars would use, but 700 by 23. I mean, there's no way I would think about taking a corner at the speeds where you are in 700 by 23.
Not touching your rim.
Yeah. And then it went to 25s, and now it seems like everyone's running 28s
or 30.
And now I saw like some of the teams were running 32s at the tour.
Yeah, so I just bought some 32s. I want to try them out because I was at 25 on 28. I'm like, 28 is like the Cadillac, man. It's like so comfortable, so smooth. And I just got some 28s, because I just got my first disc brake bike.
Yeah.
all my bikes are rim brakes, so I've been rimming for a long time.
Welcome to the club.
I've got my first. Yeah. So my friend Patrick built me this bike, so I'm experimenting, and all my bikes are still this. My friends still make fun of me with all my rim brake bikes. I'm like, man, it works, it stops, it goes. I do my thing, and I'm all right.
Yeah, it might be lighter in some cases, but definitely with the disc brake, it's hard to not be riding it. It's laterally stiffer. You can, the braking's legit. I mean, all the positives are there for it.
Yeah. How many bikes do you have?
Well, it depends. I mean, we got to start counting here out of the 4 stores. Personally, though,
personally, not in stores. Personally,
like 5 probably.
5 bikes.
Yeah, fat bike, gravel bike, road bike, time trial bike, and unicycle. No, not a unicycle.
I'd love to see the
mountain bike.
I'd love to see the TT course on a unicycle. That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, nobody's ever done that actually. Though,
yeah, you might beat a lot of people, man.
Yeah,
you never know.
I have tried to ride one, but it's not for me. Two wheels.
Maybe one day you get a tandem bike, so Erica can ride together. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. Definitely, she would not. I wouldn't let her be on the front though.
Why not?
Well, yeah, she'd be scared if I was on the front riding.
Oh my God, fun times. Bryce, thanks again. Thanks again, man. We learned a lot about you today.
Fremondo 2025. Second weekend in September.
All right, so I'm gonna try to make. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna make it for my life. I'll be here again. I'll try to recruit a bunch of people.
So life.
Hey, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. And again, as I always say, guys, keep the miles and smiles going. We have people like Bryce, the network that keeps Chicago and beyond cycling amazing, do some amazing things here. So rubberside down. Rubberside down, not up. I'm not from Australia. Rubberside down. And all the best for 2025. Amazing things to come. Keep it going, guys. Omar out.